All right, folks, I think we will go ahead and get started. So first up, apologies, I am having issues with my camera feed, so you can't see me, but you see Ed's beautiful face. But thank you for joining us. Welcome again to the Telerik and Kendo UI R3 release webinar week. This is not just a one-off thing. We're going to do this pretty much all through the week, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We had a huge release, so we're going to try unpack all of it. So once again, welcome to the Telerik R3 2020 release. We have kind of split up the week in different days based on the technology verticals that we want to hit. So let's get started. So today you're going to see me, Sam Basu, and Ed Shermano on screen. We are going to talk about all things web today, and we will kind of look into how the rest of the week is going to shape up as we talk about mobile and desktop and reporting and testing. But we'll also talk about Kendo UI. That's coming up the next 2 days with jQuery, Vue, and Angular, and React. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So this is me and Ed today. You can find us at these social handles. So yeah, welcome. Now this, like I said, this is a big release for us, and every release we stand on the shoulder of giants, our engineering teams, our PMs, all of the folks together that bring you a release. So it's a lot, and every release we feel like we don't do enough justice to all the products and all the things that all the love that we pour in. So we have decided to kind of break this up a little bit and see how we can put more emphasis on the tech that we are talking about instead of putting it all together. So this is the agenda for this whole week. And once again, thank you for joining us. You're going to see us do this for the rest of the week. So today is September 28th, Monday, and we're going to start with all things web. And that's all the .NET stuff, all things ASP.NET. And my goal today is to kind of get out of the way as quickly as possible, because I know all of you are here to know about what's the latest with ASP.NET, what can we do for you, what's all the things that are happening in the Blazor world with MVC, and Ed is here to walk you through all of that. Now, tomorrow and the day after, we switch gears to JavaScript, and we talk about Kendo. And we talk about Kendo for React, for Vue, for Angular, and for jQuery. So lots and lots of love going into the JavaScript land. Then we come back on Thursday and Friday. It's going to be back to .NET, well, a little bit of JavaScript as well, but excuse me, I will talk about all things mobile and desktop on Thursday, which is all things Xamarin, WPF, and WinForms. And then Friday, we go with reporting solutions and productivity and our testing solutions, right? So we are trying to spread our love across all of the technologies and give it a full day each. Now, what do I mean by a full day each? Well, before I go into what each day looks like, Ed is my friend, but I keep giving him a hard time that the web cannot be for everything. But the reality is Blazor in particular is eating the world. Like all of you are excited about Blazor with the possibilities of doing C# front and back and how exciting things are. So you're going to see a lot of Blazor, especially on the .NET days. Today, of course, with all things web, you will see Ed kind of dive into all things Blazor. But when I come back on Thursday to talk about mobile and desktop, you will hear me talk about Blazor and what that can enable you to do on mobile devices. And then when we talk about reporting and testing solutions, our mocking frameworks for productivity, all of that is going to be tied up with Blazor. So we are very excited, clearly, and we will try to do justice to all of our tech throughout the week. So here's what each day is going to look like. We're going to start right at 11 a.m. Eastern time, or 10 a.m. Central time, or kind of 8 Pacific time if you're in the Americas, and then kind of mid-afternoon, mid-evening each day. So again, if you're joining us just now, good afternoon, good evening. Ed and me are both on East Coast time. So we will do our standard 1-hour webinar, which is this. And we'll talk through all of the things that went into that product for this release. It's kind of going to be a show and tell of how things have shaped up, how we're aligning ourselves to like big changes in the tech industry. And then this is new. Since again, we are all living through a year where everything is online, we are trying to reach you where you are. And so we'll take a quick half-an-hour break so we can go and have a little lunch, and then we'll come back on. We have been very, very big on Twitch. We are live streaming a lot of things that we do. So you're going to see about 2 hours of live stream each day. excuse me, from like 12:30 to 2:30 Eastern time, and we are going to be live coding exactly the bits that we have put into each release. So you get to see how we, and we'll have some engineers join us as well, how we use our stuff. So you get some pointers about how to get around some roadblocks, how to use things just the right way. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and Twitch immediately means you're going to get deep dive. It's going to be informal. You're going to get a lot of interactivity. So this is your time. This is your time to come and ask us questions. Now you can do it during the webinar as well, please. But again, come and hang out with us on Twitch so you can see us do things live. Now, like I said, this is your time as well. Every release, we stand with our engineers, with all the folks, and every webinar, there is a small army of folks who support us, and those are actually the folks who build this stuff. So this is your time to ask away questions. There is a Q&A panel where you can absolutely ask away, but if you want to go things with a public trail, then ask away on Twitter with the hashtag #HeyTelerik. So we can get back to you on every one of the questions that you ask. And in case you have to run or you have another meeting, whatever, you have network issues, don't worry, we are recording all of this in high def, so you can catch the recording at any time, right? So please come and talk to us. Now, before we go into the release and all the things that we have done in this past release, we do want to take a moment to recognize the year that we are living through. It's a difficult time for everybody with the pandemic, and we are all juggling schedules with maybe childcare, balancing our work commitments. So I do hope that everybody is taking care, and you be kind to yourself and try to be as productive as you can. Now, a lot of things in our software industry are open to remote working, fortunately for us, but some things that are really difficult is engineering, which is why I'm really proud how our engineering teams do not even miss a beat. Everyone is home and remote, but we are turning out more than what we are expecting in each release. So with that, let's talk about what we can do for you developers. So first thing is Kendo UI. Let's get that out of the way. We are not talking about a whole lot about Kendo UI today. I think what you are going to see from Ed is some of the wrappers that we use for Kendo UI to power up our MVC and other controls for ASP.NET Core. But Kendo UI, if you want to see the deep dives, that's coming up tomorrow and the day after. And that's all across jQuery, Angular, Vue, and React, right? So that's all things Kendo UI. For all of the .NET devs in the house, which is Ed and me and everybody else who's on the call here, we are here to enable .NET developers to be more successful by giving you the UI for whatever platform that you are wanting to build on. And in the .NET space, you likely already know this, but a lot of things are happening. The big news is .NET 5 is just around the corner, and this is coming up in November. The release candidate RC is already out, and you're going to see this across almost all of our product lines. So we want to ride the waves. We are working with Microsoft ahead of time. So by the time .NET 5 rolls around, you will have support for all of our tooling. We already do for all of our RC bits that are .NET 5 that's out. So we already have support. So we are absolutely future facing. So when .NET 5 is ready for you and when you want to jump ship, you know that we are going to be right there with you. So again, big things happening in the .NET space, very exciting things happening. So with that, let's dive into the R3 release. And like I said, this is a big release for us across all things JavaScript, across all things .NET. It's actually a lot to just unpack in one day, which is why we are splitting this up. But if there is a like a specific product that you care about, go check out blogs.telerik.com. So our teams take the time for each product to break down exactly what is new for this release. So you have one spot to go and check, and while you're there, you can also check what's new in some of the other products. Maybe you already have DevCraft, then you want to know what's going on in the other ones. And again, if some of you are new to Telerik and Kendo UI tooling, welcome to the family. If you're already with us, thank you for your support. We hope that each release we give you more and more ammunition to be successful. So while we speak today, the bits are actually already out, about a week and a half maybe now. So however you use Telerik UI, go get the hot bits, right? Go get the updates. So that could be just going out to telerik.com, logging in and downloading the DLLs. It could be using the control panel if you still use that. If it could be, well, most of you still likely use the NuGet packages, which is a very easy way to kind of incorporate our bits into whatever project that you're working on, or you want to do NPM, however you do it, go get the bits. So you can relate to the things that we're talking about. All of those things are packaged in the updates, so go get the bits. And like I say all the time, we are developers. We are for developers, by developers. So if you struggle, that's not good. We want to make sure that we want to help you out every step of the way. That's why we dog food our stuff. That's why we build all of our stuff using our UI, and we really care. So our docs, our demos should be right there to help you out every step of the way. If you see something missing, if you want a feature, if you want to have the conversation about a roadmap, then we are all ears at feedback.telerik.com. So please come and talk to us. All right, now before I go into the release, I do want to mention one quick thing. So we put together a huge conference called DevReach. This happens every year. This is actually our 12th year. It happens actually in EU, in Sofia, Bulgaria, which is beautiful, one of my favorite cities in EU, and our engineering headquarters are out there. And we go out there and we host a huge conference, get about 1,500 people together. But we can't do that this year because, again, we are all living through a difficult year. But that doesn't mean that we cannot have fun and we can have the same passionate conversations just online. So that's coming up October 19th to 22nd. And just like this webinar week, guess what? DevReach will be all week long, and we are going to focus on each tech at a time and get some amazing experts for you. And the best part, it's all free, right? So you can join from your couch anywhere. And we're going to do some fun things. It's not just tech. We are going to do like an escape room. We are building a custom VR world so you can come and hang out with us just like we do in our game room in our office. So it's going to be amazing. So this is the plan for the week. So we start October 19th. Again, since Ed is the Blazor king, he's going to get the opportunity to start, and for good reason. So we'll go into Blazor, we'll go into React, Xamarin, .NET MAUI, Angular. Right, so all of these things, we are going to get experts together, and it's going to be like a 4 or 5 hour long stream. So you get to exactly see how we work, how do the experts recommend we use this stuff, and we're going to build things live and on the fly. So that's going to be great. And then Friday is going to be a super fun day, code party. So we're going to give out a lot of prizes, so a lot of opportunities for you to come and hang out with us. And all of that is happening on our Twitch channel, which is Coded Live, right? So come and hang out with us at DevReach. It will be a lot of fun. Now, I'm done with my spiel. I just wanted to set the stage. This is a very exciting time, and with all things web, you can see Ed kind of walk through all the investments we are making to make you more successful with different types of web applications you can build with .NET. So with that, Ed, let's have you take over and take us the rest of the way.
All right, Sam, I am grabbing the screen away. I think that should do it. We should be live now on my screen.
Yes.
Excellent introduction, Sam. Thank you so much. It's really some great information for everybody to take away already. I'm going to focus on just the .NET web products today. That includes ASP.NET Core, MVC, AJAX, and of course Blazor. But as Sam already said, we have other webinars dedicated to JavaScript, and all the Kendo UI stuff. So make sure you check those out. I saw some questions coming through our Q&A panel already about how you can sign up for those webinars. One of the best links that you could possibly find for that is telerik.com/webinars. And even if you're watching this on a recording later and you're not watching the live presentation now, still visit that link. And if the webinar has passed, you'll have a video link there that you can go out and watch the recorded version of that webinar as well. So take that link away with you and make sure you catch up on any content you missed. The first thing I want to do is talk a little bit about Telerik UI for AJAX. This is a product that has been around for 18 years now. It's a very important product to us. We have a lot of developers out there making web forms applications, and every year we release 3 releases of all of our products, and that includes AJAX, and we always bring something new to the table. Even after 18 years, we find new things to add. These are controls that are CSS3 and HTML5. They're modern rendered components for the web. They have responsive UI. They're accessible. They follow all of the 508 and AAA compliance. So excellent product there. So we have some new stuff here. We have a new card component that is super customizable. You'll see other card components out there, but none with the amount of features that you'll see in the Telerik UI for AJAX. We also have increased the number of features to our charts. So you'll see a lot of updates around our charts, and this is kind of a theme throughout all of the products today. You'll notice that we have a lot of financial capabilities in our products, and we're really tailoring our tools to help our financial people develop, line of business applications and applications that have a lot of charting and graphs and those type of things. You'll see a lot of updates around that today. We also went through the effort of improving our documentation and our demos throughout the entire Telerik website. So it doesn't matter what product you're looking at today, whether it's AJAX or any of our other .NET or Kendo UI products, we have improved documentation, excellent demos. We've made a better user experience so you can find the things that you need. I also want to talk about Telerik UI for ASP.NET Core and MVC, and then we'll break away for some quick demos for some of the new components I just mentioned for AJAX and MVC and Core. We have over 90 components in our Telerik UI for MVC and Core suite. These are all powered by our Kendo UI JavaScript framework. They're blazing fast. You're going to get really instant application interactions with these. They're future-proof. ASP.NET's been around for a long time. MVC's been a popular programming model for years, and it will be for years to come. And we see support for ASP.NET Core in our products, and also support for .NET 5. So we have shipping support for ASP.NET Core 5 for the Telerik UI for ASP.NET Core. So these are future-proof components that you can use for years to come. Just like we saw with the AJAX product, that's something we've supported over 18 years now, and we continue that tradition with the Telerik UI for ASP.NET. We have brand new Visual Studio installers and extensions for Core and ASP.NET, and there's a new dashboard template that I'll show you today. And again, we've increased the UX on those demos, and you'll see that throughout all the products. We have 6 new components for MVC and Core. The 2 that I think are the biggest heavy hitters this time around are the wizard component and the image editor. So these we'll take a look at in detail in a few minutes, but they are very special controls. We also have a loader, an app bar that is really convenient, a pager that is a pager that you'd see, for example, in our data grid. We've now abstracted that away and let you use that with any type of custom scenarios. That's really interesting. And then we also have a really nice customizable text area. And we'll dive into some demos on all of those things after we look at some of the updates that have come through with the existing components that we have in the tool set. Our Gantt our Gantt component has gotten quite a few updates in this release. One of the big ones, again, highlighting those financial things that we're capable of doing. I know I've worked in finance in the past. Plan versus actual comparisons are very, very important to the financial industry, and we've listened to feedback from our financial customers and integrated some plan versus actual comparisons in the Gantt, so that's really handy to have. We have column options and column templates now in the Gantt as well, so you can fully customize that Gantt chart to whatever you need. The grid gets updates every time we release something for our UI components. It's one of our most popular controls, if not the most popular control, so why not update that with new features every time? We have sticky columns and foreign key binding. So if you're working with any framework and SQL databases, that is going to help you out tremendously. Our tree list has some new features as well. We have drag and drop reordering. So it's a nice UX there for rearranging items throughout your tree list, and you get the right hierarchy, and the API has excellent feedback for where that item is being dragged and dropped within that tree list. We also have checkbox selection, so you can check in, select multiple items within the tree list. Our scheduler is another one of our really popular components, and this is an extremely powerful feature that was added in this release. The reoccurrence editor that's something that you use heavily in something like Outlook, where you're trying to create a reoccurring appointment, things like that. That reoccurrence editor is now available in the scheduler. And we've also made sure that this component is accessible. So it has section 508 and WCAG compliance. And we're continuing on with even more improvements to our popular components. Our spreadsheet now has some custom HTML rendering capabilities, so you can put basically anything you want inside of those spreadsheet cells. So that's something that customers ask for and we deliver. A numeric TextBox, we added some simple features here just to help with the UX of the control. So you're able to just select all of that content on focus. So let's break away for a minute from all the slides, and let's just look at some of the demos that we have available for AJAX and MVC. First of all, I just wanted to show the card component really quick, because I mentioned that it was highly customizable. Again, you'll see other card interfaces on the web, but our card component really offers a lot of customizable behaviors. We have things like buttons, different layout types. You can embed media and those type of things. So the action buttons, you can see we have different types of buttons that we can show, whether they're on the left or right. You can orient those however you'd like. We have different types of layouts. In this example, we have a nice scroller that we can add multiple cards to, and then we can also group these differently and change that gutter that's between the layouts. And we could put those in a top to bottom list as well. So these are all built-in behaviors that you can easily implement in your AJAX application. We have a lot of new stuff for ASP.NET Core and MVC. If you go to demos.telerik.com and scroll down, if you want to take a look at any of the new stuff, we highlight all that with a nice little green badge, so you can easily find your way through all the new bits. The first thing I want to focus on here is our loader. So our loader is a nice animation that you can add to your application for long-running tasks. So you have loaders that have customizable spinners that you can add different types of loader spinners to. So there's our 3 of our choices there. We can also control the color variation and the size of those spinners. And with our ASP.NET Core product, we also have tag helpers available. So tag helpers are a component interface that was added to ASP.NET Core that lets us write our code with tags and attributes, just like HTML. So it looks actually very Blazor-like, in my opinion, but it came first. So we have, if I can zoom in on the code here for you guys, if I can hit the right key combination to zoom in on the code, you'll see we have our tag helpers in action here with the Kendo UI drop-down list tag helper, and then our loader is in here as well. So it's just as easy as adding that Kendo-loader component to your project to get that loader integrated with a tag helper. Our app bar is another new component that we added in ASP.NET MVC and Core. The app bar is a highly customizable toolbar that you can add to your application. It's a nice way to display buttons in search boxes and things that go with the view that you're showing the user, and create interactive points within your application. So here you can see we have some buttons that we can interact with that control the behavior of our view and hide and display things. This is completely customizable. You can add whatever that you would like to that app bar. But one of the features for the app bar that I really enjoy is the fact that you can position it. This is something that if you're writing CSS yourself, takes a little bit of trickery to make these work just right. And we've taken care of all of that for you by just enabling position modes. So one thing that's nice, we can actually move this app bar to the bottom of our application and have it sticky. So it will follow the user as they navigate up and down through the page. And we can also make that static and attach it to the bottom of the application as well. So if you want that app bar to appear at the bottom of the application, that's nice as well. And then we also have light and dark themes that you can toggle with that. And then all of our themes are completely customizable through Theme Builder at themebuilder.telerik.com. You can go in and completely take control of that theme just by clicking Start Theming and changing the colors of the UI to match your application. Our text area component, this is one that I said, again, highly customizable, but a very simple component. So we have our text area, but it comes with some really nice features on it that have some really good fit and finish for your app. This one in particular, if you think about, you're sending a tweet or you have a feedback portal, something that you want to maybe limit the number of characters that you can input. We have a nice interface for that. If you look down in the right-hand corner as I type, we've got that character count being displayed. So you can control that type of thing. This is, again, if you're using Twitter at all, you see this type of behavior. You want to tell the user how many characters they have left for their tweet. This is super handy if you want to have users be really concise about their feedback, for example. If you're building some type of application where you want users to really focus on getting to the point of what it is they want to submit as feedback, show them that character count, give them a target to go for. Another really big component that we released for ASP.NET MVC and Core is our image editor. So if you want to add image editing capabilities to your app, maybe you're working in the insurance industry and you need customers to be able to upload photos and crop out maybe some damage that was done to a property. That's an excellent example of how to use our use case for our image editor. So users are able to upload their image. You can even crop the image with drag and drop crop handles and resize your image. And we have resize options, zoom, and all sorts of features that you can add to customize this and make it part of your application. Our charts have gotten more features in this release as well. There's lots of nice charting capabilities for that financial industry. You'll notice that we have nice date range pickers and everything built right into our charts. So this is stuff that you'll see in really advanced dashboards like Google Analytics, for example. This is a UX that you might recognize from something like that. You can build that capability into your ASP.NET Core and MVC applications. And of course, our wizard component. This is another component that's slowly been, pieces of it have been added to the framework over the last couple of releases. So you'll see we have our stepper component embedded within the wizard, but now our wizard has the capability of doing a lot more. You can integrate forms with this, with things like validation. So you can stop the user from continuing on to the next step if they haven't completed a section of the form. So the wizard is a fully integrated solution for doing those stepwise form type of scenarios. So you can display the number of steps that are needed to be completed. Again, we have validation in there, so you can stop users from going to the next step if they haven't filled out all of the information. So it's a very nice integrated experience. And then of course, we've taken the pager out of our pageable components and brought that out to include it in the product so you can use it in any scenario that you need to do paging in. And this is powered by our data source request object. So it's very easy to use, works well with things like Entity Framework. So any scenario that you have that you want to add paging capabilities to, you have the option to do that now. Really powerful but simple component. Love it. Another component that is available for MVC and Core as well as Blazor, and we'll get into Blazor in just a minute here, is our tile layout component. So you're able to add a dashboard-like layout to your MVC applications where you can drag, drop, and resize different elements from the dashboard. Let's jump back over to some of our slides again and talk a little bit about what's new in Blazor. So we have 50, yes.
Yeah, just to give you like a talking break, folks like Mark McGuire cannot wait for Blazor. So clearly you got an audience on the edge waiting for Blazor. Before you move on though, just a quick stop. A lot of folks are asking about the Twitch info. So we will have that one more time before we end. So Ed can go have his lunch and come back, but it is twitch.tv/code8live. And that's where you can find us throughout the week, every afternoon. And a lot of folks are also asking if we can record what we do on Twitch, which is just us live coding. So yes, absolutely, those get recorded out and pushed out to YouTube. And I think it's youtube.com/Telerik. And that happens probably in the next like 1 or 2 days after we're done with Twitch. And I also saw a lot of folks, which I mean, our folks have responded, but again, in case you are looking to sign up for the webinars that are coming up for the rest of the week, there are lots of links that you can go to, but like just go to Telerik.com or blogs.Telerik.com. We have those little banners up on top, so that'll take you to the webinar sign up pages.
Thanks so much, Sam. With Telerik UI for Blazor, it's a really interesting story for us because we decided we were going to build our components 100% native. So our components are built with the Blazor framework native first from the ground up. So we didn't wrap any of our existing JavaScript components in a Blazor wrapper and pretend it's something new. We actually decided to build it with the framework itself. So we gained all of the benefits that Blazor has to offer and only add JavaScript when absolutely necessary. So that keeps our payload size low with just about 300K worth of JavaScript behind the scenes, filling in where Blazor just doesn't have API surfaces yet. So we have 50 truly native Blazor components. And this lets you write .NET applications without writing your own JavaScript. So this means you can use your existing .NET code in Blazor applications, and when you're in a Blazor application, you're going to be primarily writing C#. Our components have 3 base customizable themes. We have the default theme, which is our nice base theme that we use. We have a material theme that follows the material UI design language, and the Bootstrap theme. So if you're using Bootstrap, you can easily integrate with those Bootstrap applications. And again, theme builder, if you go to themebuilder.telerik.com, you can load up your Blazor components in there, customize those colors completely, and then integrate that with your application with your custom themes as well. So we have 11 new components for Blazor this time around. We have a brand new what you see is what you get editor experience that you can add to your apps. That is something that is very highly requested, so we're happy to announce that that is available now. We have a tile layout that you saw a moment ago that's available for MVC, and it's also available for Blazor too. We'll dig in a little bit deeper on that in a moment. We have a tree list, a loader, much like the MVC one, a context menu, so you can right-click on your application and offer a menu for various scenarios, a nice switch component, button groups, which are super handy for building toolbars and those type of things, a toggle button, and we also have those financial items that I talked about. We have a brand new stock chart, a candlestick chart, and an OHLC chart. We also added quite a few new features to Blazor, and the grid is getting a lot of those new features this time around. We have a brand new column menu, which I'll show you in just a minute. It gives you a lot of nice UX behaviors for your data grid. That's really going to open things up for users. We have custom filtering available in the data grid now, so you can completely customize how those columns are filtered and what type of data is presented in those filters. Footer templates and aggregates are now available, so you have complete control over how to tally up those aggregates and how to display them in the footer of each column. We have a bunch of new events around our context menu. Again, the context menu is new to Blazor, and we have a nice integration point built into the grid itself. We'll take a look at that in a quick demo. Row click and double click events are also surfaced now in the data grid, and we have more support for data this time around. So data table and dynamic expando objects are now supported by the grid, and this is a feature that was asked for by customers, so people should be happy to have those dynamic objects supported in the data grid now. We also have filter enum values supported, and we've integrated the visible parameter to the column. The chart has gotten some new features in it. We have a new tooltip template that uses the Blazor templating syntax, so you can write razor templates to create those tooltips now. And we have this click event on the chart, which is really interesting if you want to build like detail views or drill down capabilities in your application by interacting with the chart surface itself. So you can click on a corner of the pie chart, drill into the data grid maybe, or just display some detail information about that area. TreeView's gotten some upgrades, some new events, and the ability to select single or multiple nodes. The text box has gotten some additional parameters that will help you customize that user experience. We have things like autocomplete, placeholder labels, name, title, tab index, and you can set the different types of text box. For example, if it's password, it'll show dots. You can set the type to numeric or phone number, for example, to customize those mobile experiences. So if you're on a touch device and you click on one of our text boxes, it will display the context-aware keyboard that goes with that experience. So if you're entering a phone number, you get numerics only and that type of thing. We have updated our menu. We've added a new separator and the ability to disable menu items. And we have new Visual Studio extensions and installers for Mac and Linux. We have extensions for Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio, of course. We also have a wizard that will help you convert an existing Blazor project to a Telerik UI for Blazor project. So that's very helpful. So it reduces the amount of steps needed to take your application and add our components to it. And of course, we've also opened up our virtual classroom to trial users, and we have a Telerik UI for Blazor virtual class there. So Telerik UI, or Blazor in general is just new, and so is Telerik UI for Blazor. So we're trying to help customers get up to speed with the framework and our components. So if you go to learn.telerik.com, and if you have a Telerik account, an active account, you're able to get into the virtual classroom and learn more about those frameworks. So let's look at some Blazor demos really quick. We've got a lot of new things that I'd like to cover. Again, we have the same tile layout available for Blazor this time around with full resize capabilities, drag and drop, all of those things. You can build dashboard applications, financial apps, apps where you want the user to be able to customize this layout experience. With that, you would assume that it's really easy to get in there and save the state of this type of thing. We even have a demo online to where you can persist the state of these objects. So when your user goes in and rearranges these items, you can set up your own behaviors to trigger that save of the state of those items. In this example, we have a button click that saves where those tiles are laid out. You can automate this and save it on resize. There's all sorts of options here, but the nice part about this is it's completely intuitive for the user to be able to drag these things around, resize them, and then come back to the application and see the dashboard the way they left it. We have our new switch component. This is extremely helpful for scenarios where you have settings for the user to turn on and off. So it's very intuitive. There's quite a few options for these as well. So if you're running with our default theme, you have the ability to control the label that is on these as well. And of course, like anything in the tool set, it's localizable. So you can change the language on those as well. So you get that behavior right out of the box, which is very, very nice. We have our loader component. This is a really interesting little demo that I like to show. You think, loader component, something that's very useful, of course, but there's a place where it would be really handy a lot more often than I see it in the wild. I get this question a lot from just not only the Blazor community, but web community as well. If I have a long running task, so for example, I have a payment that's being submitted and I don't want the user to submit multiple payments by accident, how do I disable the button while this behavior is happening? Very common scenario, very easy to fix, but in this simple demo, we're saying report generation, but I've seen this, I don't know how many times by some service provider I'm making a payment on, and they have some red banner that's displayed over the button warning you not to click it multiple times. Why not offer a better user experience where you just show that it's loading and disable the button for them? So we actually have the source code right there on that example, and it's very simple to integrate with your application. Just a couple lines of code right there. We have high-low charts. These are great for stock charts as you're opening high, low, and close information built right in. That's a new chart that we just added to Telerik UI for Blazor. We also have our new candlestick chart integrated into the tool set as well. And then if we go to the top level of these demos, if you want to see an integration for all of these charts and the data grid and everything, we have a really excellent example called the My Stock portfolio right there on demos.telerik.com, and you could see that brand new candlestick and the OHLC chart as well integrated right there. And you can also toggle between the different chart types and view those. And you'll see we also have the date range picker integrated to control the date of that, or the range of dates in that data set, which is really nice drag and drop interface there. And it also integrates our data grid and shows how you can do templated charts within that data grid. So I've only got a few minutes left. I just want to give a quick shout out to one more part of our tool set that doesn't get enough kudos, in my opinion. We have excellent support on all of our products. You can go to your portal within Telerik.com, submit a support ticket, and get immediate responses from our support folks. Usually it's like a 24 to 72 hour turnaround time, depending on what license you have, but they get right back with you. It's an excellent way to get in touch with our engineering folks on an issue. We also have our public-facing forums and user voice that Sam told you about, feedback.telerik.com. So I just wanted to show a quick example of some of the stuff that comes up in some of those support scenarios. So at feedback.telerik.com, there was a nice post here about how can I take my application and export a data grid to Microsoft Word. That's a pretty big ask, but it was out there, and our support engineer, Marin, grabbed a hold of it and actually put out a demo for that. And I wanted to show how that actually looks, because it's a really interesting scenario. So we've got our application tightly integrated with our document processing libraries, which are included with the product. And let me make sure I pulled up the right one here. This might be another, there was actually two of these support tickets I was looking at. I might have grabbed the wrong one here first. This one exports to Excel. So the question from the feedback portal was, how do I export more data than what's on the page? So there's a nice demo that Marin, our support person, came up with, and you have a nice checkbox that you can toggle to either export all of the data in the data set or just the data that is currently on the data grid, and it will generate an Excel sheet right from that Blazor data grid. So that's a nice demo. Let me see if I can get this other one back up here. Where we're exporting out to, here we go. So we're taking the data grid in this scenario, we're exporting it out to a Word document using our document processing library. So again, these are just some of the things that our support folks handle. And it shows off the power of not only our support, but our product, that we can integrate this deeply and offer a solution right there in our support channels. So this data grid, if I click on export to docs, you'll notice it's downloading a Word document. If I open that up, it's actually taken the data and pumped that into a Word document in a table format. So this isn't functionality that is so much native to the data grid, but all of the pieces and building blocks that we give you with Telerik UI for Blazor, with the data grid, the document processing capabilities, they all can be used very easily together to orchestrate something like this. And you can find the source code for these out on our feedback portal at feedback.telerik.com. Just search for export to grid and export to Excel, and you'll see those in there. We can also send you some links here in the chat room. Speaking of demos, we're going to do some more demos here shortly on Twitch. You can join me later today at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to deep dive into some more of the components and Blazor demos. And then upcoming next week, we're starting a new show called the Blazor Power Hour from 10 to 11. We'll explore some frequently asked questions about Blazor, Telerik UI for Blazor, and anything that just comes up in the community that we want to talk about. And then I also do a live stream every Friday called Blazor State Has Changed, where I just live code on projects that I'm working on and show off different techniques and things that you can do in Blazor. And I just want to remind everybody, if you're not a Telerik customer already, we have 30-day free trials of all of our products. I highly recommend grabbing DevCraft, which is our complete collection of all of our tools, and download a 30-day free trial, kick the tires on all those things. If you like it, put a ring on it. That's all I've got, Sam. Do we have any questions that we can dig into with the last 10 minutes here?
Yeah, and actually, if you don't mind, I will take the controls back and
Absolutely.
just put up our regular screen here. All right, I don't know if you folks are seeing my screen. I just have a couple of closing things. But thank you, Ed. That was quite a bit, and we did have some tweets on Hey Telerik on the web, thanking you for and the team for all the Blazor goodness. So I don't know if any of this will put you in the spot. And again, we are all about an open communication. So our engineers are here as well. We will absolutely follow up. So do you know, Ed, about any docking components? Anything we can do like we do for desktop?
Docking. Depends on the framework. I believe we have a dock component for Telerik UI for AJAX. I'd have to dig in and see if we have something in MVC and Core. I definitely know we don't have anything for Blazor quite yet. We do have a splitter component that's available in MVC and Core as well as AJAX. That's similar. It doesn't quite dock, but you can split up panels on the screen and make those customizable, and that's coming to Blazor. It's on our roadmap. I can't remember if that's in Q1 or Q2 of next year, but we have outlined that.
Yeah, awesome. That was a question from Gerard Rabidu. So thank you. And yes, please keep in touch with us. And I'm sure as we plan things out, we will let you know. So just follow Ed, talk to us more. Michael Clark is asking if, they've been using Telerik UI for AJAX for years. Should we be considering converting to UI for MVC for the coming years? And I know you're the web expert, but I can chime in. I think the answer is yes. And it comes down to your ROI. How much are you hurting? How much are you willing to spend in terms of upgrading your apps and what you get out of it? Yeah, I mean, the whole web forms isn't going away anywhere. But if you want to jump onto the latest and greatest things and support things like .NET Core, then yes, you probably should look to jump. And I actually like the fact that the jump is to MVC, which I think is like a smaller step. And I mean, there are lots of content on how to convert from web forms to MVC. But Ed, do you think from web forms to Blazor, is that a jump that is conceivable?
I would say it depends on the project, Sam. If you're looking for, let's just speak on the terms of future-proofing what you're going to build. So you've been on web forms. It's probably an application that you've had for quite a long time, and you want to invest in something that you can also build on for quite a long time. The thing that I would gravitate towards is .NET Core in general. So we want to build either ASP.NET Core MVC or Blazor with the next app, and try to migrate away from what is now called full framework or .NET Framework 4.8. So do not use 4.8. Go to because it's being frozen in time. It's not being sunset, but there's no new versions of full framework coming out. So 4.8 is the last version of full framework. ASP.NET Core is the future of the web for .NET. So use ASP.NET Core, either MVC, Razor Pages, or Blazor. If you're not very strong in the JavaScript technologies, I would say Blazor is probably a better choice than MVC. You're going to have to do with your MVC application, you're definitely going to have to do some jQuery or some JavaScript to make that work.
Yeah, well said. And then this is so exciting. Like we talk about Blazor all the time, but the whole WebAssembly support, this is new. This is as of like May of this year, where you could do C# all the way in the client side. So yeah, very exciting times. And if you don't want to write JavaScript, then absolutely go look at Blazor.
Yeah, Microsoft's advice coming directly from speaking with Dan Roth the other day, he said they're going to be recommending .NET 5 for new development.
Yeah, and that's clearly on the horizon. A lot of love has gone into kind of the unification story. All right, so Marcelo Druans is asking if the Blazor component roadmap is public.
Yes, so if you go to telerik.com and click on the Blazor UI, there's a menu item that says what's new. And if you click on that, you'll have the public roadmap.
All right, and along those lines, Jesse Phillips was asking if the image editor that you showed off, I think that was for ASP.NET Core. Yes. Are there any plans on bringing that over to Blazor?
I would say eventually the controls that you see in MVC will eventually be moved to Blazor, but I don't have a roadmap item, public or private, for that yet. So, while I could assume it's going to end up in the Blazor product, there's no timeline of when yet.
Sure. All right, and Jesse Phillips was also asking about the adaptive cards that you showed off. I think that was in MVC.
We have that for AJAX and MVC.
MVC, okay. So I have actually run into this like in the past. So we have done like cards for other things as well, like for desktop or for mobile. Do you know about the Microsoft adaptive cards thing?
Yes.
Yeah. So any thoughts on alignment or integration with that?
So I believe adaptive cards, we have integration with our chatbot component. So yes, if you look at our chatbot, the adaptive card is integratable there. I don't think the card UI itself lends itself to that, but the chatbot does, which I think is more of the context you'd use it in anyway. So the chatbot component is what you'd look at on AJAX or ASP.NET Core.
Yep, absolutely. And I actually have the same exact conclusion for the mobile and the desktop aspects of it. So the Microsoft Adaptive Cards, it's a template. It's a standard for you to show up those cards. And I think those work very well in a chat context. But the stuff that we did actually for like mobile and desktop, those were more powerful than the Microsoft Adaptive Cards. So we gave you all the access to make your cards. But for the adaptive cards that you want to use for Microsoft, that is more suited for the chat applications.
Correct.
Yep. All right, and let's see. Bernard Fua is asking if the editor component, I'm guessing it's the WYSIWYG thing, support copy paste of image from clipboard. Oh, that's
I don't believe so, but I'd have to check to find out. Maybe one of our PMs can answer that in the chat.
All right. Stefan Bobak is asking if there are panels in Blazor. I'm not sure if I understand.
We have the tile layout. I think that might be what the question's regarding. We do have the tile layout that I showed. We have another type of panel layout on the roadmap that lets you kind of divide up the screen into multiple sections and make those drag and drop interactive with the user. So not in this release, but there will be the panels in upcoming releases. There's also a type of panel where you can hide and show content. That's another type of a panel I can think of. That's actually something you can accomplish very easily just with Blazor, just the framework itself. So I don't know if we'll have a component there unless it's controlling like a collection of panels, like a tab strip type of a thing.
Okay. I do want to give you time to go grab lunch, but how about one last question? Alexander Roundy was asking if there's a custom graph library that you want to bring in if the graphing or the charts and graphs we do doesn't have one. I don't know. This can be a mixed question, can be interpreted in a few ways. But I mean, all of the charts and graphs that we have, like that takes a lot of engineering.
Yeah.
If you want to bring in something, I mean, there's always like a web component where you can display it as long as you can hook it up to data, then yes. Yeah.
So my feedback here is, first of all, go in the feedback portal or get in touch with us. Let us know what's missing, because there may be other customers that want that same feature. We can add it. Second of all, if you have something that is third party to us that you want to add to your application, the nice thing is we have that theme builder technology. So if you go to themebuilder.telerik.com and you want to match the theme of other components in the Telerik UI suites with the other thing that you want to integrate with, you can easily do that through Theme Builder.
Okay, awesome. And one last thing, Sandy Hong, I don't know if you just joined, was asking about Windows Forms and if that is done, and the answer is no, absolutely not. In fact, we will talk about it a whole lot more. Today is just the day to talk about web stuff with .NET. I'm going to be coming back on Thursday to talk about all things mobile and desktop, and that's where you're going to hear me talk about Xamarin and WPF and WinForms. So we're going to dedicate like 3.5 hours just to talk about all of the mobile and desktop stuff. But I think at this point, we want to give Ed just a little bit of a break so he can come back on. One more time, thank you very much. I know this is a difficult time this year in particular for many of us. So hopefully you're good to go. We are enabling things to make you more successful, to be able to ship your apps faster. We are here and invested in your success. So please talk to us at any time. And we also thank you, and we also thank our engineering teams who bring us these releases every year or every few months, so we can talk about all of the fun and exciting things to enable you to do so much more. So a big thank you from me and Ed, and thank you, Ed, for kind of walking through all of that stuff in like less than an hour. So like I said, a lot of you had asked about the Twitch URL. That's it, twitch.tv/codedlive. So come and join us. All you need is just like you need to be a registered like Twitch user. That's it. It's all free. So come and hang out with us. You're going to see Ed live code a lot of the things that you just saw. So that's coming up in half an hour. So come and join us then. And until then, thank you very much, very much, and we shall see you soon.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
All right.